The Season of Conquerors. That's what Season 7 for New World is going to be called. And, well, they've revealed what is in it. Now, some people are going to be a little bit disappointed, I think, here. But there's some interesting things, so let's go through it right now. One of the first things to note is the fact that this is actually coming on January 21st. We sort of looked at when the previous season ended and assumed that this would be a week or so before this date, but it's actually going to be January 21st. What's new in Season 7 though? Well, the big thing obviously is the seasonal worlds, the fresh start system here. And what's kind of funny is we are going into this relatively blind, which for some people I think will be a really good thing. Like, there's no PTR, it's just going to be whatever we get, right? We're going to have to discover it as we go. It's a season of discovery, if you will, which you probably shouldn't because that's a different game. But there was a lot of misunderstanding about this. Players are going to flag for PvP at level 15, which I assume means you technically don't have to join a faction to PvP, which will be a little bit weird. And, you know, if that's the case, will some people try factionless? If you want to attack everybody, all comers? Maybe. That's not for me. We're going purple. If you want to play with us, follow me, Discord, Twitch, etc. And there's going to be these new resources and gear with powerful perks, but beware, these items drop upon death. So there's basically new custom items, and these are the only things that drop. Everything else is sort of not dropped, but these are going to be powerful, so you are going to want to equip them, and I'm not 100% sure how easy they will be to get. And then the next element which people were asking questions about is at the end of the seasonal worlds will close. Well, that makes sense because it's the season, right? But players can transfer their characters to a permanent world of their choice. Now, I'm assuming that the gear will not transfer with you, right? These powerful effect items probably won't transfer. So I wonder if you can actually play on a fresh start server. A bit of me really wants a character in NA, but I'm not going to do that. We're still going to do it EU because, you know, I'm EU. But that's a good thing, right? Confirmation. We'd already seen it before, but confirmation if you needed it. And then the next thing really in here, and I don't think there's any like serious hints about this or like in any pictures that I've seen, is that there will be a new outpost rush map called Coral Divide, which obviously gives you a little bit of a clue to what the theme is. Now, they don't actually say when it is, but it says get a sneak peek at the brand new outpost rush map Coral Divide. I wonder what the old one's going to be called. During a special preview weekend. So keep in mind, this is coming. We are going to get a new outpost rush map, but it's not coming yet. We are going to see a special preview weekend, so it's going to be like 2-3 days, something like that, and that's when you're going to see that, or it's an inevitable inclusion probably in Season 8. For a lot of people that's sad, but you know, at least we're getting it, I guess. But it says here, a central trench divides the battlefield and houses NPCs, build bridges to create new pathways, open up strategic options, or opportunities I should say, for your team. So it sounds like a really interesting map, right? Going to be bridges, you get to pick the paths and stuff like that. Could be really cool indeed. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, and we'll have to play it. And then they go on and talk about the changes to M3, which as we kind of knew what it was going to be, nothing here really tells us anything interesting. They're going to unify the mutations, so if it's just going to be like Ice Week or Void Week, you don't have to be like one dungeon is Void and the other one is Fire. There's just going to be one type. The M3 is going to be integrated into the activity group finder. Question there is going to be, can you pick M1, M2, M3? It's still a little bit weird how you can cheese it with gear score. It might be the case that you just can't find M3s unless you actually get lucky. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And they are going to be upgrading the rewards here. They say conquer the challenges and collect better loot than ever before. But the question is, for the people who've already like kind of semi-maxed out, is that going to be worth doing? Again, the jury's out because nothing really tells us anything here. A couple of interesting things for dungeons, which are, you know, I'm not really 100% sure what they are, but resolved AI movement issues. I don't know what this means. It says wind chill interaction with Nereid from Barnacles. I don't know what that was. Fixed issues, targeting issues for the Void Destroyer in Tempest Heart. I just did Tempest Heart and I did Barnacles today, and I don't know what they are. I literally did the dungeons today. Improved mechanics and enemy interactions across all expeditions. Yeah, I mean, if that could be big, it could be nothing. I mean, it depends on what they've done. Like, they made a couple of changes to Lazarus, by the way, the last boss. Jardis, they made him a little bit more interesting to actually fight. Is it that kind of thing, but across all of the dungeons? Could be spicy, could be just bland. I don't know. Again, we don't know. And then we get a nice little tasty insight into the artifacts that are coming in Season 7. Now, the Void Gauntlet, which is called Fracture, is going to heal 100% more health and deal 50% more damage with Essence Rupture, and you unlock this by doing the Tribal Ice Mammoth. Well, actually, I don't actually tell you where it comes from. When it says unlock it, does that mean you get it from here? And then, actually, I don't think this tells you how you get it. I think it just tells you what you do to unlock the perks. Kind of confused by that. If I'm reading it wrong, let me know in the comments. There's also a life staff called Hecator. I don't actually know if that's how you pronounce that. And this is going to grant 30% damage absorption with light touch after casting a life staff ability. That sounds like it could be very defensive, which is kind of opposite vengeance, which, you know, maybe some life staff people will like. Might be better to use that than the life taker void gauntlet, or maybe even the void gauntlet here. Although maybe with this 100% healing, maybe it is worth to take that one. I don't know. That's going to be for healers. I don't know anything about healers. I don't know anything about healers. I never play as a healer. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not sure if this is, I think this is how you unlock it, but then of course you complete the quest change to unlock it. I don't really understand. I don't understand this addition to these notes, so I'm going to skip them from now on, okay? We'll just talk about the artifacts. There's an Ice Gauntlet, which inflicts Frostburn by breaking Aeternum, slowing enemies and dealing damage over time. That sounds cool, right? If you use Aeternum and you don't use an artifact right now, Ice Gauntlet, Otzi, could be good for you. There's a new fire staff called the Burninator, which sacrifices damage for increased dots, which is basically going to be increased burn effect, 15% over 5 seconds. I hate dots because they feel so powerless when you have them on you. Well, hate's a strong word, but you know, it hurts me inside. So facing that will be a massive pain in the backside. Obviously, they do sacrifice the damage though in the short term. There's also a new bow, which is deal 15% more damage to poisoned enemies, which I think is probably better than Bolt Caster. You can do a lot of different poisoning with the bow, poison shot obviously. And yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. I think that's going to be a decent bow right now. I mean, just off the top, right, it looks possibly that you might get better use out of this one than Bolt Caster in some certain situations. So could be strong, could not be strong. We'll have to wait and see. There's a new rapier, which is called Dogguard's Blade, which is applying a burning effect with heavy melee attacks. Now on the surface, that doesn't sound that hot. I don't know. Rapier is one of those weapons I don't often play, and I don't really know if people do heavy attacks with the rapier. Normally it's all like, so I don't actually know if that's going to be useful. I'll leave that to you guys to decide. There's a new earring, which kind of sounds interesting, which automatically recharges healing potions after 20 seconds, but with a 90-second cooldown. If you're somebody who uses potions a lot, which I kind of do, especially whilst I'm waiting for Ank. I don't have an Ank at the minute. Then, you know, this could be good. Could be kind of useful. Obviously, Ank is an amulet, and the other one is Endless Thirst. This could be useful, though. I don't know if this will be better than Endless Thirst. Maybe it's just a choice depending on your playstyle. Semi-interesting, not sure about strength. There's also a musket, which is called Shrapnel, which is going to cause enemies to bleed on headshots, which sounds great if you're a professional and you actually hit those headshots. For me, I'm a bit of a chump with the musket, so that's probably not for me, but, you know, that's probably better than the mechanic, I would guess. Interesting artifacts for sure. Nothing really stands out as being completely broken, but then, you know, somebody will come along and find a way. They also go through the seasonal events, which I don't really care about. They say they're going to up-level the gear score to 700 on the Legacy of Crassus, but these are the 3 events we've already seen before. If you've not seen these before, look forward to them. If you have, maybe do them, maybe not. Depends on the rewards. They also go through the season pass rewards. You can get, well, actually, this is where you get 2 of the artifacts, Otzi and Hecator. That's the Ice Gauntlet and the Life Staff, I think. Transmog tokens, I mean, dice and consumables, all right. And the other one is literally just more boost, more gold and stuff like that. You've seen this before. I don't need to tell you. It's going to be very similar to the previous one. One of these artifacts will be at level 20 and the other one will be at 100. They have a small section here on bug fixes and improvements. I don't really think that these are like the full patch notes, right? This is the announcement of season 7. We already heard a lot of this in the dev video. This is what they're giving us and this is what they're presenting to us today. They're going to bring a lot of bug fixes and technical improvements. Okay, like what? AI updates, fixed targeting and behavior issues for expedition bosses and world mobs. I mean, a lot of the range shots are just very bad when it comes to NPCs. Not that I think that that's a good or a bad thing. You know, one thing I would like to fix is stagger. I don't know if they mention it in here, but the stagger in PvE, especially like certain circumstances, like Amrine, you know, the ice bosses, like Baroness in Outpost Rush, some of the staggers are just pure toxic, and I don't know, I absolutely hate it. Oh, actually, it's the second one that has improved AI aiming. That's fixed targeting and behavior issues. Also, that's not targeting as in, well, I guess maybe it is. It's selection of target. And the second one is actually aiming. Okay, kind of my bad. They resolved issues with player abilities and effects. that's so vague. I can't express to you what the hell that would be. Unified the mutation. You just doubled the same patch note that Amazon. We've seen it before. You mentioned it earlier, mate. I guess if your patch notes are so small, you might as well double up. I'm joking. Get off my case. I'm joking. It's serious though, innit? They have updated now this bit, right? When I read this just before I started the video, and I read this and I was like, what the Jesus Christ is this? They've updated the shop offerings in Outpost Rush, including a new buildable wall for adding cover. Some regen potions, some cleansing elixirs. The cleansing elixirs are going to be like, prior. I may actually have to get some as off and buy some of these. A new buildable wall for cover though. Depending where you can place this, you could maybe like double up on doors and stuff like that. Maybe you like put it on the walls, on top of the walls with a little gap so that only you can shoot through them. That is very, 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 very interesting. I'm very, very intrigued in that. I don't necessarily think it will fix the whole issue with Outpost Rush, but it's kind of fun. Kind of interesting that they're doing that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I suspect it'll be more toxic than people think, but I'm looking forward to that. Then they say that they've improved skill-based matchmaking in Outpost Rush to be based on your personal ranking in the match instead of just wins and losses. With all due respect, I'm not even sure it's working at the moment. The battles in Outpost Rush, I honestly feel kind of like more lopsided than ever. Literally just feel more lopsided than ever. And I'm not convinced it's doing anything. And I also didn't necessarily think it was based on wins and losses. It was kind of based, you got like an elo system, I think, from looking at the data mine information. But I wasn't sure it was working. It sort of feels like it's been disabled, to be honest with you. But what they're saying here is that it's gonna, if you do really, really, really well, then you're gonna get like a higher elo, basically. Now, my question for this is are they going to rework the point scoring system? Is it going to be based on the points, or is it going to be based on something else? Healers get a lot of points, AoE damage get a lot of points, single target musket players might not get a lot of points, but might get a lot of kills. Bruisers, when you play and you have no healers, will get like 0 points. It's kind of, who knows? I don't know how that's going to be. I'm not convinced that matchmaking is currently implemented and working. They tried, but it doesn't seem to be having the effect that they wanted. And maybe the fact that it doesn't feel like it's had the effect that they wanted is the reason they're doing this. Because there are some people who go in with like a pocket healer, or they're just incredible players on their own right, or a combination of the two, and they just start annihilating people. Maybe that's going to mean that they will not be able to do that as much. Or if they do it, they're going to get worse teammates, which will balance the fights. Hopefully it doesn't mean people will throw. There's already a lot of AFK people, so. The next one I don't really like the sound of. They cleaned up the invisible collision in the original OPI map to allow for more traversal options. So basically, in the past, we had rocks that people like muskets and bow users and stuff like that were getting on top of, and it was very awkward because you couldn't really chase them. So they blocked them off with really awkward invisible walls. Maybe they've let you back on, or maybe they're just changing the invisible walls. I'm not sure what's going on there. And then I think this next bit is actually my most favorite bit of the whole information. Quality assurance. Comprehensive testing to ensure stability and performance. Kind of feel like that's around about the 50th time we've heard that. I'll believe that when we see it. I hope it's right. But I'll believe it when I see it, because, damn. If New World's sort of infamous for one thing, it's definitely not that. Then I think there's a little hint of what the next camp is. Then it tells you to save the date, thrilling PvP, new challenges, insane. And really the big conversation is all going to be about these seasonal servers. I'm not right now going to talk about whether or not they're a good thing or a bad thing. Kind of feel like seasonal servers don't work in an MMO. Kind of feel like a PvP server will be absolutely toxic, but kind of fun for maybe like a week. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Not really put too much thought into it. Maybe I'll make a separate video over Christmas or something and we'll actually have a deep dive topic in that. But it's obviously one that has me interested, but one that kind of has me concerned as well. The artifacts look pretty cool. The dungeon upgrade, yeah, fine, we're all on board with that. Outpost Rush, we'll sort of believe it when we see it, right? Coral Divide sounds cool, but no pictures, no hints or anything like that right now. Artifacts sound cool. Seasonal events nobody cares about. Season pass nobody cares about. Bug fixes, I'll believe it when I see it. Quality assurance, I'll believe it when I see it. All in all, Season 7 is kind of empty, right? The roadmap, I think, was basically like a smokescreen, right? The roadmap had a lot of cool things, bells and whistles, but I think it was all kind of like a distraction. Season 7 literally does not have much content in it. An Outpost Rush map for 2 or 3 days, that's Season 7, right? Changes to M3, not content, it's systems. And the seasonal server, really, it doesn't sound like they've put that much work into it, but until we get like a dev video, until we see or we discover it ourselves. Can't really comment on it, but season 7 to me is definitely a stopgap, but it's an interesting one at that. Let me know your thoughts. Have a beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye. And Merry Christmas to you and to all your friends and family. See you.